Hello and welcome to another episode of What Travis Says. My name is Travis. Let's talk about Doctor Who. More specifically, let's talk about the connections between the episode Empress of Mars and Brexit. Now, in my Empress of Mars video, I made a comment about how there were a few references to Brexit in the episode. There was a commenter that asked what the Brexit reference actually was, but instead of responding in a comment, I decided to rewatch the episode and make it into a video. And after rewatching the Empress of Mars, I realized that there were a few Brexit references that I didn't even get the first time around. You know, because by then I knew what I was looking for. Mark Gatiss' episode was originally going to be an episode focused entirely on the Brexit, and it wasn't even going to have the Ice Warriors in at all. But then when Gatiss saw this season as sort of an ending of an era for Doctor Who, he opted to write the episode that he's wanted to write for so long, Ice Warriors on Mars. For those of you that don't know, Brexit is the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the European Union. Pro-Brexit advocates say that leaving is necessary to restore Britain's identity and place in the world. Remain supporters believe that staying in the European Union is better for the economy overall. It has been the most controversial UK referendum in recent memory. Enter Empress of Mars, a typical Mark Gatiss episode, references to classic sci-fi, Robinson Crusoe. It's very nostalgic writing. But under the hood, there are still loads of hints and references to the Brexit movement even after the inclusion of the Ice Warriors. Let's start with the title, Empress of Mars. It refers to the Ice Queen, of course, but it also could refer to Queen Victoria. And there could be definite parallels between the Ice Queen and Theresa May, Prime Minister of the UK. Both are stubborn isolationist rulers who refuse to compromise even if the outcome could be mutually beneficial to both sides. Theresa May's trademark decision seems to be going it alone, whereas the Ice Queen will just kill everyone. It's not a perfect analogy, but the isolationism is shown to be heavily flawed, where each side is just outdated in their way of thinking, that they don't have to be so stubborn. The episode also uses British imperialism to point out the hypocrisy of xenophobia and nationalism. When Ketchlove says, "Don't belong? We're British. Mars is part of the Empire now." British imperialism and sovereignty. The irony is that the Brexit campaign seems to idealize the British Empire while also vilifying immigrants. Loving that military expansion while making sure that refugees stay within their own borders. Fearing the alien but praising the invader. The Doctor makes an appeal to the Ice Queen, saying that Mars has died and there's no hope for her to bring it back to its former prestige. Fight for the future, not a dead past, he says, as if campaigning for Remain. The Ice Warriors would do better to cooperate with the humans, and if the humans cooperate as well, then they get to survive in harmony. But both sides are too proud, too stubborn, and people end up dying. But the biggest Brexit commentary comes in the form of the cameo that we've been talking about all week, Alpha Centauri. It is so perfect for AC to show up at the very end of the episode and welcome the Ice Warriors into the universe, saving them from their dead planet. The cameo is more of that nostalgic Gatiss writing that I was talking about, but it's also very on the nose with what's going on with the current EU. The previous Alpha Centauri episodes were The Curse of the Peladon and The Monster of Peladon. Both of these episodes were an allegory for Britain's relationship with the European Economic Community back in the 1970s. And at the end of Empress, Alpha Centauri shows up as an allegory for the European Union. In the end, whether you agree with Brexit or not, Empress of Mars is a story about how Britain cannot and should not attempt to resurrect the British Empire. Realizing that Britain can be proud of their place in the European Union is the first step towards mending wounds and building stable relationships. But in 2016, the British government held a referendum and a majority voted to leave the European Union, so the UK is leaving. It's just a matter of how hard or soft the withdrawal is going to be at this point. So even though Mark Gatiss completely rewrote his Brexit episode into an Ice Warriors episode, it was still able to keep a lot of similar themes. Were you aware of all of these Brexit references your first time viewing, or were there any Brexit references that I may have missed? Brexit references, it's hard to say over and over. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to What I Have to Say, and you will see me tomorrow.